The alarm blared across the bridge of the Imperial flagship Eternal Dominion *. Lieutenant Daho jumped at his station, hands fumbling with controls as red lights flashed overhead. He had been nearly asleep during his routine scanning assignment. Now his heart raced. "Admiral Park, unusual energy reading detected in Sector 7, he called out. Admiral Park Jinwoo strode quickly to the scanning station. His tall figure cast a shadow over the nervous lieutenant. The Admiral's uniform gleamed with medals from past victories. "Show me," Park ordered, his voice calm but firm. Daho's fingers worked rapidly across the screen. The main view screen flickered to life. It showed empty space at first, then zoomed in on a small blinking dot. "It appeared suddenly, sir. No warp signature, no engine trails. It's just there." Park studied the readings with narrowed eyes. "Magnify." The image grew larger but remained unclear, a dark shape against the stars. The energy signature pulsed weakly, like a fading heartbeat. "Could be a sensor malfunction," suggested Captain Bo Kyung from her tactical station. "Run diagnostics," Park ordered. 30 seconds passed in tense silence. "Diagnostics complete. Sensors functioning correctly," Daho reported. "The object is real." Admiral Park straightened his back. He had served the Empire for 40 years. His instincts rarely failed him. And now they screamed danger. "Deploy Reconnaissance Squadron 3, he commanded. "Captain Sun Mai, take 4 ships and investigate. Approach with caution." Sun Mai saluted sharply. "Yes, Admiral. We depart immediately." The reconnaissance vessels launched smoothly from the flagship. Sun Mi's voice came through the comm as her ships accelerated toward the mystery object. "Estimated arrival at target location in 6 hours, Admiral." Park returned to his command chair, fingers tapping restlessly on the armrest. The bridge crew worked quietly, sensing his tension. 6 hours later, Sun Mi's ship approached the coordinates. Her pilots slowed their approach. "Captain, I'm seeing something." "Vague," the pilot whispered. The object materialized on their view screen. A massive starship, dark and silent. Its hull was scarred by centuries of drifting through space. Strange markings covered its side. "Magnify those markings," Sun Mi ordered. The image zoomed in, revealing faded letters. "ESS Prometheus. Send visual back to the flagship," Sun Mi commanded. Her voice trembled slightly. "And maintain safe distance." On the Eternal Dominion *, Admiral Park stared in disbelief at the image. "Impossible," he whispered. Every officer in the Imperial Academy knew the story of the human vessels destroyed during the Great Collapse. The ESS Prometheus was the most famous, Earth's greatest warship, reportedly destroyed with all hands. Yet here it floated, 300 years later. "Captain Sun Mi, scan that vessel thoroughly," Park ordered. "Any life signs?" "Scanning now, Admiral." "No clear life signs, but something is odd. The ship has minimal power. Systems appear to be running on emergency protocols." Park frowned. "A ghost ship should have no power after 3 centuries. "Sir," Sun Mi continued, "our scans show the inside is preserved. Life support systems appear functional at minimal levels. It's as if the ship put itself to sleep." The Admiral's unease grew. Humans had been considered primitive compared to current Imperial technology. Their disappearance had barely registered in galactic politics. But if their technology could preserve a ship for centuries. "Maintain position. Do not board yet," Park ordered. Too late. On Sun Mi's ship, an alarm sounded. "Captain, the human vessel, it's activating." Lights flickered across the dark hull of the Prometheus. Ancient engines hummed to life. The reconnaissance team watched in stunned silence as systems that should have died centuries ago awakened one by one. "Admiral." Sun Mi's voice crackled with static. "Something's happening. The ship is." Her transmission cut off suddenly. Park leaped to his feet. "Sun Mi, report," he shouted. The view screen showed a brilliant blue light enveloping the reconnaissance ships. Then the light vanished, taking the ships with it. No explosion, no debris. They simply disappeared. Moments later, the Prometheus itself began to move. Its massive engines glowed with strange energy. Before the admiral could issue orders, the ancient vessel accelerated and vanished in a flash of light unlike any Imperial jump signature. Admiral Park stared at the empty space where the human ghost ship had been. His mind raced with implications. If the Prometheus survived, could humanity itself have survived too? And if so, where had they been hiding for 3 centuries? "Sir," Lieutenant Daho broke the silence. "What do we tell Imperial Command?" Park's expression darkened. "The truth. A human ghost ship has returned, and I fear this is just the beginning." The blue light faded as Captain Sun Mi blinked in confusion. One moment her reconnaissance team had been outside the mysterious human vessel. The next, they were inside a vast hangar bay. Their 4 small ships sat neatly arranged on the floor like toys placed by a careful child. "Status report." Sun Mi called out, fighting back panic. "All systems operational," her pilot responded. "But we're definitely inside the human ship. Some kind of tractor beam technology." Sun Mi made a quick decision. "All personnel, suit up for boarding. Weapons ready but not hostile. We need to understand what we're dealing with." 20 Imperial officers exited their ships cautiously, environmental suits sealed against potential dangers. Commander Hangil took point, his tall frame leading the group forward. "The air reads as breathable," reported Ensign Ta Rim, studying her scanner. "Temperature 19 degrees. No detectable toxins." Hangil nodded. "Maintain suit protocols regardless. This ship is 3 centuries old. Nothing should be functioning, yet here we are." They moved through a doorway that opened automatically at their approach. The corridors beyond were dimly lit by emergency lighting strips along the floor. Everything appeared clean. No dust, no decay. As if time had simply stopped inside the vessel. "This shouldn't be possible," whispered Sun Mi. "The preservation technology alone is beyond our capabilities." The team followed a path of gradually brightening lights, as if the ship itself guided them deeper. None of them voiced the obvious, that they were being led somewhere deliberately. After 15 minutes of walking, they reached a circular chamber. In its center stood a single transparent pod, frosted over but clearly containing a human figure. "A cryogenic preservation unit," Hangil said, approaching cautiously. "And it's occupied." The team formed a defensive circle around the pod. As they did, lighting in the chamber increased, revealing consoles and equipment lining the walls. "Captain, these systems are activating," Tai Rim reported nervously. "I don't think we're doing it." A soft voice filled the chamber, causing several officers to raise their weapons. "Welcome aboard the Earth Space Service vessel Prometheus. Authorized personnel detected. Initiating revival protocol for commanding officer." The pod hummed to life. Frost melted away from its surface, revealing the woman inside. Dark hair framed a face that appeared to be sleeping peacefully. A name was visible on her uniform. "Na Jisu, Captain." "We should stop this," Sun Mi whispered. But no one moved as the pod completed its cycle. The transparent cover slid open with a soft hiss. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the woman's eyes opened suddenly, startlingly aware, as if she hadn't been asleep for centuries. She sat up smoothly and looked around at the armed Imperial officers surrounding her. Her expression showed no fear, only mild curiosity. "I see our guests have arrived," she said in perfect, unaccented Imperial standard. She stood up from the pod with the casual ease of someone rising from an afternoon nap. "I am Captain Najisu of the Earth Space Service. Welcome aboard the Prometheus." Hangil stepped forward, weapon lowered but ready. "How do you speak our language?" It developed long after human civilization disappeared. Captain Na smiled slightly. "While I slept, Atlas was awake, learning, watching, preparing for this moment." "Atlas," Sun Mei questioned. The room dimmed briefly. Then a holographic figure appeared beside Captain Na, a tall, featureless humanoid shape made of blue light. I am Atlas, Advanced Tactical Logical Artificial System of the Prometheus, the figure said. I have maintained this vessel and monitored galactic communications for 312 years, 4 months, and 17 days while awaiting proper recovery conditions. The Imperial officers stared in shock. Artificial intelligence of this sophistication was theoretical at best in the Empire. Captain Na stretched her arms casually. Your Imperial vessels triggered our automated response systems. The Prometheus determined it was time to complete our mission. What mission? Han Gil demanded. Reconnection, Ne replied simply. Humanity didn't end, Commander. We just stepped away for a while. Sun Mei found her voice. The historical records show all human vessels were destroyed in the Great Collapse. Earth became uninhabitable. History is written by those who remain to tell it, Captain Na said. She walked to a console and pressed several controls. The chamber walls became transparent, revealing stars outside. But sometimes, those believed gone are merely waiting for the right moment to return. The room filled with star charts and data streams that Atlas projected into the air around them. Regions marked in red showed Imperial territory. But vast sections of space, marked in blue, showed areas the Empire had never explored or dismissed as worthless. While your Empire expanded outward, Na explained, humanity rebuilt elsewhere. The Prometheus was left behind deliberately, a sentinel waiting to awaken when the time was right. She turned to face the stunned Imperial officers. And now, it seems, that time has come. The Imperial Council chamber buzzed with tense voices. 50 council members from across the galaxy sat in rising tiers, their faces showing various degrees of concern and disbelief. At the center stood Admiral Park, his uniform perfectly pressed despite having gone without sleep for 2 days. The human vessel has moved to the outer reaches of the Cygnus system, Admiral Park reported. Captain Sun Mei and her team remain aboard, apparently unharmed but not permitted to leave. Council leader Hyun Suk leaned forward, her aged face severe under her ceremonial headdress. Admiral, are we to understand that this single human vessel, this ghost ship, captured 4 of our reconnaissance vessels without firing a shot? Park swallowed hard. Yes, Council leader. The technology demonstrated appears to significantly exceed our current capabilities. The chamber erupted in angry shouts and denials. Impossible. Humans were primitives. This must be some trick. Hyun Suk banged her ceremonial staff 3 times, restoring order. What does this human captain want? She claims to be an advance representative, Park replied. Captain Na says humanity has been rebuilding in unexplored regions of space. The Prometheus was apparently left behind deliberately as a monitoring station. General Min stood up from his seat, his scared face twisted with contempt. This single ship poses no threat to the Empire. I propose we send the 4th Battle Group to capture this vessel and extract its technology. 20 warships should be sufficient. Several council members nodded in agreement. We cannot risk Captain Sun Mei and her team, objected Minister Junho. General Min waved dismissively. Acceptable losses for such valuable technology. The debate raged for hours. Finally, Hyun Suk called for a vote. The majority supported General Min's plan. Very well, she declared. General Min will lead the 4th Battle Group to secure the human vessel. Admiral Park, you will coordinate from Imperial Center. Park bowed stiffly. He did not share Min's confidence, but orders were orders. 3 days later, General Min stood on the bridge of the Imperial Dreadnought *, Unyielding Force *. 19 other warships formed a perfect attack formation around him. Target in visual range, reported his tactical officer. The Prometheus appeared on the main screen, looking small and vulnerable against the backdrop of space. General Min smiled coldly. Open communications, he ordered. Captain Na's face appeared on screen. She looked calm, almost amused. Human vessel. Min began formally. You are commanded to surrender to Imperial forces immediately. Your technology is now property of the Galactic Empire. Compliance will ensure the safety of the Imperial citizens you currently hold. Na tilted her head slightly. General Min, I presume. Captain Sun Mi mentioned you might be sent. She also expressed concern about your tendency to overestimate your position. Min's face flushed with anger. You have 30 seconds to power down your systems, or we will open fire. I understand, Ne replied pleasantly. But before you make a regrettable decision, perhaps you should know that Captain Sun Mi and her team requested asylum aboard the Prometheus after learning the truth about humanity's current status. Lies. Min spat. You have them as hostages. Na sighed. Atlas, please show the general our guests. The screen split to show Sun Mi and her team in what appeared to be comfortable quarters. They wore no restraints and appeared healthy. General Min, Sun Mi said firmly, do not attack this vessel. The human technology is beyond anything we possess. They have shown us evidence of. Min cut the transmission. All ships, target weapons systems and engines. Fire on my command. His weapons officer hesitated briefly, then prepared the targeting systems. Fire, Min shouted. 20 Imperial warships unleashed their most powerful weapons simultaneously. The space around the Prometheus lit up with destructive energy that would have vaporized an entire moon. When the brilliant light faded, the Prometheus floated unchanged, surrounded by a faintly glowing blue field. No damage detected, reported the stunned weapons officer. They absorbed our entire attack. Min stared in disbelief. Impossible. All ships, prepare second volley with. He never finished his order. A soft pulse of blue energy expanded outward from the Prometheus. As it passed through each Imperial vessel, all systems shut down instantly. Emergency lighting flickered on as main power failed across the entire battle group. Min's bridge plunged into semi-darkness. Emergency systems provided minimal life support, but nothing else functioned. Weapons, engines, communications all dead. A single working screen flickered to life. Captain Na's face appeared, now serious. Your ships will regain power in approximately 6 hours, General Min. No permanent damage has been done. Consider this a demonstration rather than retaliation. Min could only watch helplessly as Ne continued. When your systems restart, return to Imperial Center with this message. Humanity has evolved beyond your understanding during our absence. We seek peaceful reunion with galactic society, but we will not be threatened or coerced. She leaned closer to the screen. The Empire has never faced a species like humanity before. You would be wise to choose diplomacy over force. The screen went dark, leaving Min alone with his thoughts in the powerless ship. Outside his viewport, 19 other Imperial vessels drifted uselessly in space, his entire battle group defeated without a single shot fired in return. For the first time in his military career, General Min felt true fear. A temporary meeting chamber had been hastily prepared aboard the neutral space station Horizon Point *. Imperial guards stood at attention along the walls, their expressions tense. At the center of the room, a long table divided the space symbolically. Empire representatives on one side, the human delegation on the other. Admiral Park sat stiffly, flanked by Council Representative Young Mai and Imperial Intelligence Director Q1. Across from them, Captain Ne looked surprisingly relaxed. Behind her stood 2 figures. Commander Han Gil, who had shocked the Empire by requesting asylum with the humans, and a holographic projection of Atlas. Let us begin, Young Mei stated formally. The Empire demands an explanation for humanity's deception and current intentions. Captain Na nodded. 300 years ago, Earth faced destruction, not from natural causes as your history records suggest, but from a conflict with a species you've never encountered. We call them the Void Walkers. She gestured, and Atlas projected an image of strange, shadowy beings that seemed to bend light around them. They nearly destroyed us, Na continued. We couldn't defeat them through conventional warfare. Our only option was retreat and rebuilding. Convenient that there's no evidence of these void walkers in our records, Director Q1 said skeptically. They operate beyond normal space, Na explained. They attacked Earth through dimensional rifts. When they retreated, they left no trace except our devastated planet. Admiral Park leaned forward. You expect us to believe humanity has been hiding for 3 centuries without detection? Na smiled slightly. Admiral, your empire explores outward, seeking resources and territories to control. You ignored regions you deemed worthless, the radiation zones, the dark matter clusters, the dimensional boundaries, precisely the places we chose to rebuild. She nodded to Aglas, who displayed a new star map. It highlighted vast regions the Empire had never properly explored, nearly 30% of the galaxy. While your civilization expanded horizontally, ours expanded vertically, Na said. We developed technologies that allowed us to exist in spaces you consider uninhabitable. Young Mi's eyes narrowed. If what you say is true, why reveal yourselves now? Why not remain hidden? Because the Void Walkers are returning, Na stated simply. And this time, they'll target all sentient life, not just humans. The Imperial representatives exchanged alarmed glances. You have no proof of this threat, Director Q1 protested. Hangil spoke for the first time. I've seen their proof, Director. The evidence is overwhelming. So you betrayed the Empire based on stories from a dead species? Q1 sneered. Na raised her hand, and Atlas projected a new image, a star system at the edge of Imperial space. As they watched, a small tear seemed to form in the fabric of space itself. This rift appeared 3 days ago, Na explained. Your sensors aren't designed to detect these dimensional anomalies. Within a month, Void Walkers will emerge and begin their assault. Admiral Park studied the image carefully. This is a live feed. Yes, the coordinates are in the Nexus system. Send your own vessels to verify if you wish, though they won't have the technology to properly observe the rift. Director Q1 tapped rapidly on his datapad. Nexus system shows no anomalies on our scans, he reported triumphantly. Of course not, Na replied patiently. Your sensors weren't built to see them. The Prometheus detected 17 similar rifts forming across the galaxy. The Void Walkers are returning in force. Young Mi looked troubled. If this threat is real, why didn't humanity warn us sooner? Because we weren't ready, Na admitted. We needed time to develop defenses. The Prometheus was left behind to monitor galactic development and alert us when either the Empire reached sufficient technological capability to assist us, or when the Void Walkers began returning. She looked directly at Admiral Park. Unfortunately, the second scenario arrived first. Convenient timing, Q1 muttered. Na's expression hardened. There is nothing convenient about the potential extinction of all life in this galaxy, Director. Admiral Park raised his hand for silence. Captain Na, let's assume your story is true. What do you propose? Alliance, Na said simply. Humanity has developed technologies specifically designed to combat the Void Walkers. But we lack numbers. The Empire has vast resources and populations, but lacks the specialized technology needed for this fight. She stood up. I'm authorized to share our technological advances with your scientists immediately. In return, we need access to your production facilities and military personnel for training. Young Mi looked skeptical. The Empire does not share power easily, Captain. This isn't about power, Na replied quietly. It's about survival. The Void Walkers don't distinguish between human or Imperial. They consume all life equally. Admiral Park studied the woman across from him. Despite his military training and years of diplomatic experience, he couldn't detect deception in her words or manner. I will take your proposal to the Council, he finally said, but I'll need more than words and unverifiable projections. Na nodded. The Prometheus carries our complete historical archives, and technological database. You're welcome to send your best scientists aboard to verify everything I told you." She reached into her pocket and placed a small crystal on the table. "This contains the coordinates of New Earth. Our leaders are prepared to meet with yours directly. The ghost ship's mission is complete. Now the real work begins." The observation deck of Imperial Center was packed with officials from every corner of the Empire. They pushed against each other for a better view of the vast emptiness of space beyond the transparent dome. Admiral Park stood quietly at the front, Captain No beside him. Their faces reflected the blue light from the monitoring screens. "They should arrive any moment," May said calmly. Council leader Hyun Suk approached them, her ceremonial robes rustling. "Admiral Park, one final time. Are you certain about this course of action? Opening our capital system to an unknown human fleet?" Park nodded firmly. "I've reviewed all evidence, Council leader. The human threat assessment is genuine. The Voidwalkers are real, and they're coming for us all." A junior officer rushed forward. "Admiral, our deep space sensors are detecting multiple fold space distortions." Every eye turned to the void beyond the dome. At first, there was nothing. Then, space itself seemed to ripple like water disturbed by a stone. A single point of light appeared, growing larger. Then another, and another. Ships began to emerge. First one, then dozens, then hundreds. They were unlike anything the Imperial citizens had ever seen. While Imperial vessels were uniformly gray and angular, the human ships displayed a bewildering variety of designs. They gleamed with strange metals that seemed to capture and reflect starlight in impossible ways. "There are thousands of them," whispered Hyun Suk, her political composure cracking. At the center of the fleet, a massive vessel emerged that dwarfed everything around it. Its design echoed the Prometheus, but evolved to something greater, sleeker, more powerful, somehow more alive. "The Lazarus," Na said with quiet pride. "Our flagship." The human fleet arranged itself in a perfect hemisphere at a respectful distance from Imperial Center. No aggressive positioning, no weapons charge, yet the display of coordinated movement demonstrated precision that left Imperial military officers muttering in professional admiration. A communication request chimed on the main screen. Captain Na nodded to the operators, and the screen flickered to life. A distinguished man with silver-streaked hair appeared. "I am Admiral Kang Sung-ho of the Earth Alliance," he said, his voice deep and measured. "On behalf of humanity, I extend greetings to the Galactic Empire." Hyun Suk stepped forward. "This is an unexpected show of force, Admiral Kang." "Not force, Council Leader. Capability," Kang corrected gently. "We face an enemy that exists between dimensions. Numbers alone will not save us." Park watched the exchange carefully. In the week since Captain No had revealed the truth about the Voidwalkers, he had reviewed the evidence exhaustively. The dimensional rifts were expanding. 3 Imperial outposts near the Nexus system had gone silent. Something was coming. "Admiral Kang," Park said, stepping forward, "our scientists have confirmed the nature of the threat. The Empire is prepared to form a joint defense initiative." Ness smiled slightly. For the first time in 3 centuries, humans and Imperials would work together. The next day, Admiral Kang and his officers met with Imperial leadership in the Grand Council chamber. Historical enemies sat side by side as they planned for survival. "The Voidwalkers exist partially outside normal space," explained Chief Scientist Ji-min, a human woman whose age was impossible to determine. Conventional weapons passed through them harmlessly. She activated a display showing specialized equipment. "These dimensional anchors force them fully into our reality, making them vulnerable. Our factories can produce these anchors," offered Imperial Production Minister Tae-sung. "But we'll need the specifications." "Already provided," Admiral Kang replied. "Your engineers should be receiving the technical data now." Council Leader Hyun Suk watched the cooperation with guarded optimism. This alliance changes the balance of power in the galaxy. It creates a new balance, Captain Nutt corrected, one where survival takes priority over domination. In the days that followed, human scientists and engineers spread throughout the Empire. They brought technologies that transformed imperial worlds overnight. Clean energy systems replaced resource extraction. Medical advances eliminated diseases thought incurable. Defense systems upgraded to detect dimensional anomalies. At a newly established Joint Command Center, Admiral Park watched humans and Imperials working together. Captain Nutt joined him by the observation window. "A month ago, I would have considered this impossible," Park admitted. "Humanity learned valuable lessons from our near extinction," Ney replied. "We discovered that isolation breeds stagnation. Different perspectives create stronger solutions." Below them, a human engineer laughed at something an Imperial technician said. The sound of friendship forming across centuries of separation. "The rifts are still growing," Park noted soberly. "Will we be ready in time?" Nutt nodded confidently. "United, we have capabilities neither of us could achieve alone." The Void Walkers expected to find divided civilizations easy to consume. Instead, they'll face a unified defense they cannot imagine. She looked out at the stars, the same stars her ancestors had fled in fear, but which she now faced with determination. "Humanity didn't just survive in hiding, Admiral. We evolved, and now so will the galaxy." Outside the window, human and Imperial ships practiced formation maneuvers together, preparing for the coming storm. The ghost ship's emergence had started as a mystery, then became a revelation, and now transformed into the galaxy's greatest hope for survival.